in this political era, showing that Joseph Boakai becomes president of Liberia. So welcome to the team of journalists.
Well, I want to thank you as usual. We are once again glad to be before the Fourth Estate to express our concern about events in Liberia, political events in Liberia. And so particularly our attention has been drawn to President George Weah's latest executive order that is calling for the ban on unprocessed rubber. We believe the president's decision is not timely. We believe the president has taken decision to undermine the economy and put Liberians at the mercy of foreigners. And I think our country's economy should rather be in the hands of Liberians, not in the hands of foreigners. I think those who are advising the president in terms of, the outlook of the economy, they don't know the history of our country. The rubber sector played a key role in strengthening the economy. And most time we argued about foreign equality. You remember some part of last year, even the finance minister were complaining that there were not much US dollars in the country and there were challenges with foreign equality. Now, the sectors are bringing foreign equality. The president is taking decisions to put a ban to that sector. Some part of last year, the local farmers, they stopped farming rubbers. They stopped, planting new trees because rubber were not leaving. The shipping lines were not taking rubber out of the country. Liberian farmers were being subjected to, the foreign companies. We can't continue to subject Liberians to poverty. If you look at the rural parts of Liberia, the infrastructures in the rural part of Liberia gradually changing because the rubber sector continue to play that role. Our people who survive on the rubber sector cannot continue to be subjected, to the mercies of foreigners. We have gathered information that the president and his office, the legal advisor, has allegedly received 500,000 United States dollars from Jetty, to be able to subject the local farmers to the mercy of Jetty in a rubber corporation. We have had Firestone in the country for more than a century. Firestone has never requested for a monopoly on rubber. We have had lag in this country. We have not had a monopoly on processed rubber. We have had, SRC. In fact, there's a rubber plantations in Maryland. So rubber essentially has played a very key role, to the economy and strengthening the economy. So to see the president, who over the last few years been complaining of foreign equality, putting a ban on unprocessed rubber is untimely, it's unfortunate, and the president we have taken the decision during the electoral era. He would have gotten 20% of the vote. Because do you know how many persons you're putting out of job? Just remember the Truckers Association will be out of job. Remember the local farmers along the line in the rubber chain will be out of job. Remember the shipping lines that are coming in the country. So, do President, we have expect that all the big vessels will come to Liberia and they will leave the country without any continue to take back. That tells you that the vessels that we are receiving today will not be the vessel coming. Because once they are not receiving anything, to take out of Liberia, they will not come. Commodity prices will skyrocket. We will put our people once again in poverty. We have to change that. So the attitude of President, we are issuing executive order on processed rubber. I think the farmer will not take it lightly. I think we are encouraging the next government, His Excellency Joseph Boakai, who so much have passion for the agriculture industry, to be able to revoke, the president latest executive order on unprocessed rubber, because this would not mean well for the country economy. We can't continue to proceed this way. We can't continue to subject the Liberian businesses, at the will of the foreigner. Remember a few weeks ago, there were another debate at the legislature about the palm oil. Again, another foreign company, Liberian businesses are now being placed, at the mercy of Fulani Corporation. We have to stop it. We can't continue to love Liberian doing elections and hate them after election. We must love Liberian during elections and love them after the elections. We must protect Liberian businesses because this is the only way that our country will move forward. See what is happening in Ghana. JT today that is giving money out to government officials allegedly for this action. JT today cannot survive in Ghana. The Ghanaians own the economy. JT want to sell cement in the store. He wants to sell almost everything in the store. So we have a challenging environment, for Liberian businesses, and this has got to stop. We cannot be Liberian and hate ourselves. We must love ourselves because this is our country, our people. Look in the industry. Look in the robot industry. Most of the children that are doing well in school today because their parent tapping that robot, selling that robot, and they can afford to send them to school. Like I said earlier, go in the hinter parts of the country. The infrastructure outlook of the countries gradually changing because a lot of people are selling robot and getting involved and they're making business and they can help the people to move forward. We have to start it. The other thing we want to talk about before we take your questions is that, look, the incoming government will have to be decisive on the fight against corruption. Those who are under sanction, we encourage the incoming government to immediately, without any delay, immediately prosecute them. The capital building, and I went to the Monrovia Central Prison. The Monrovia Central Prison was not just built for the ordinary people in the street. They were not built for the Zogos. It was not built for people who are committing minor crimes. It was also built for people who will steal from the government. Now, if they are investigated and found guilty, the Monrovia Central Prison should be able to accommodate them. That's a nice place that anybody can be. So let the new government take courage, muster the courage, prosecute those who are on sanctions for corruption. Thank you.
So, would it take for Front Page Africa? So, there are a lot of concern about this rubber processing. The moratorium on rubber, but the president indicated that no unprocessed rubber should be in the country. That is, raw rubber should be here and processed. Don't you think because we have a rubber company to produce raw rubber into finished products, that's the reason the president.
No, it is not basically the reason. I gave you an example. I will not allow you to rest on that because listen.
I'm looking at economic benefits.
Even in Africa, so let me put it so. Even in Africa, where there are a lot of rubber processing plant, the unprocessed rubber is still leaving because that gave room for foreign liquidity to come in. In Ghana, where there are also a lot of rubber processing plant built, unprocessed rubber also leaving. So the president's decision is not economically advised. The president's decision is purely because somebody somewhere gave them brown envelope, as we're hearing. And $500,000 should not be, a money received by the executive mansion to compromise the interests of the Liberian people. We cannot do that. This is Liberia. It's for us. This is the only country we have that we will never be deported from. So we now need to begin to protect one another. We now need, look, this economy will only be strong. And we, Liberian, will build Liberia. No foreigner. The businesses you are protecting, the foreigner, the Fulani brother you're protecting, the Sati brother you're protecting, the Jati you're protecting. When they earn their money, they don't build real estate here. When they earn their money, they take it back to Lebanon, they take it back to India and build their country and build their economy. They will not do anything. You think those funny looking at stores they are building here, that's what you call development. Those funny looking at stores without bathroom, those funny looking at stores with anything, is what you call development. This is not development. People are just using the land space to exploit our people, and we have to stop that. So the president's decision was not economically advised.
So I'm Sylvester Chirople. I work for the Spoon Network. Mr. President, don't you think the president's action maybe it speaks to making sure that Liberians have more job opportunities, because once you are not taking robots outside Liberia, it means that perhaps he has the mind that more companies will come in Liberia, and at that point you have more Liberians working with those companies.
Listen,
and they just go ahead.
Listen, there are many rubber processing plants in Africa. So I just repeated that. I don't need to repeat myself on this. Rubber processing plants are in their hundreds in Africa, but yet the unprocessed rubber is still leaving because you want to open the market. When you open the market, then the foreign company will not have control over the price. Few years, just last year, the shipping line could not take rubber out of the country. The shipping lines, they could not take rubber out of the country. And the so-called foreign company that you were protecting could not afford to buy the rubber on the market. So they restored part of the rubber all across the villages. The so-called company you're protecting, they were stopped. Now the shipping line said, look, we are once again, because we have a technology that we allow the rubber to leave, the shipping lines are coming and picking rubber out of the country. Now the market is now expanding. The price of rubber is getting good. And Liberians that are involved in the sector are creating jobs for themselves. And you come back now to say, look, we will not allow you to have food on your table. This is what the president is saying. The president is simply saying, we will not allow the people in Yahweh Meslon. We will not allow the people in Hapo. We will not allow the people in Bapolo. We will not allow the people in Lofa to send their kids to school, because they are depending on the rubber market to be able to send their kids to school. They are depending on the rubber market to be able to build new homes for themselves. The president is simply saying, we will not allow them to build new homes for themselves. We will not allow them to send their children to school. This is unacceptable. This is, hardcore wickedness, as I will call it.
Let me take you to the issue of the sanction officials. You talk about they should be investigated. Is that time frame given to the incoming government to ensure that is implemented?
I think after January 22nd, the president should set up a task force like Mrs. Ellen Johnson said he did with the Global Witness. Set up a task force to begin to prosecute these people. There's no time frame. There's no time to delay. If look, every international partner you talk to right now, they speak to the fact that Liberian image is being tainted negatively on the global stage. Corruption has damaged our country's reputation, and it is time for this incoming government to prove that they will live up to the campaign promises. We promised the people that we would have fought corruption if we come to power. We promised the people that we will prosecute, those who are on sanction lists. This will happen. We don't have any excuse. The incoming government has no excuse to say we cannot prosecute these people.
Do you think forming a task force will be the best thing to do? Because you said the former president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, formed a task force. Do we have impact and a result? And you also urge the incoming government to form task force?
They can choose to form a task force, or they can say we allow the Ministry of Justice to do their work. Whatever the case is, all we know, all the economic freedom fighters of Liberia is concerned with those who are on the sanction list must be prosecuted.
And do you think that there should be a time frame that
I think by February the indictment should be out. We should be able to indict the people by February. What are we waiting for? Or are we coming to politicize the thing and say a family member calling an uncle? Because that's how government in Liberia, in the history of our country, justify their weakness to fight corruption. Or the other person, family member, just call. Or we are connected to the person. No, we do not have, the EFF does not have interest in family member story about fight against corruption. We have to put our feet on the ground. The president-elect must put his feet on the ground, and we have to take decisive decision on the fight against corruption and protect Liberia. This place is where we call our home. We must protect the country.
So, Mr. Gongwe, you talk about prosecution of those sanctions. So it comes with corruption. So there are a lot of concern about an audit. An audit should be conducted in the administration. So it should be as far back as the early Johnson administration. Do you consider that?
Look, listen, we should even start from the Judy Bryant administration. We should start from the Judy. That's what, look, we have had the debate consistently. The EFF is interested in a country where there exists no corruption. That's our interest. We want to make sure this country, is like I said yesterday to one of your colleagues, we are losing almost, 20 to 30% of our national budget due to corruption. If we can decisively deal with corruption, we will build our country. Nobody will come here and tell us, say, before we give you $20 million, you got to sign gay right. Before we give you $20 million, you got to sign on to lesbian right. Those foreign Westerns, or norms. Nobody will subject the country to that, because we are fighting corruption. We're reserving our country resources, and we are investing in education. We're investing in healthcare. We're investing to improve the human condition. So if we can do that to improve the human condition, no Western country will impose their will on us. we will be able to say, look, we are an independent country, and this is what we are about to do to improve our country. We got to stop it. We got to fight corruption.
You supported the Joseph Walker administration. What's the level of confidence in the president-elect fighting corruption?
I think, I mean, even with the president-elect current U.S. visit, I'm still excited about what he's doing in the United States, talking to his friends, talking to family members, but on the sideline, he continued to reiterate, we are going to fight corruption. We are interested in the fight against corruption. He's very particularly keen about making sure that we minimize the corruption in the country and give the country a better image. He's keen about that. So our conviction in him is very strong. Hope he will not disappoint our conviction. Hope he will continue to do what he promised to bring people on the sideline. He having discussion with friends. He continues to say we must put our feet down to fight corruption. So we believe two more questions.
My name is Achid Boy. I report for Today Liberia Television. Over the past times, there have been speculation, and rumors that there have been hula battle between the EFFL and that of the Unity Party. Do you care to tell the leadership currently with the Unity Party?
I think we are on a good footing. There's no crisis between us and the Unity Party. We are on a good footing. Anybody who insinuates that there's a crisis between us, you're on your own. Right now, we are focused on getting the government, to take seat, by January 22nd, and working with the president to meet his 100 days deliverable. We are keen on that. We support the president and vice president-elect. We support the Unity Party in the transition process. We hope that we can continue to hold together as we did, during the electoral period.
Mr. Gongwe, lastly, this question this is very much important, and it has to do with the sanction issue, right? What do you think those who have been sanctioned by the American government, what action do you think Liberians, state authorities can really do to them? Because those who have been sanctioned, sometimes they take state power, they've been senator, and they still maintain that.
Our national retreat, and part of the thing we're going to be discussing at the national retreat is our ongoing mobilization scheme. We want to make sure that from now to 2027, we are mobilizing 1.5 million people into the EFF. That is a goal we want to achieve, and we want to recruit the young people so that we begin, to radicalize them in the right perspective, make them to be conscious people. We cannot continue. Somebody cannot be a criminal and you go vote that person to make that person your national leader. We have to stop it. But the older generation cannot stop it. It has to begin with the young people, because the older guys, for them, it's just about power. I was telling one of your colleagues this morning, begin to pay senator $4,000 as it is in Ghana, and pay representative $3,000. Nobody will steal from the executive to find the legislature as a comfort home to go sit down. Nobody. We have to look. We need leadership that can look in the faces of the senators and representatives and say, look, we will cut down your salary to $4,000 in South Africa. My friend Julius Malema, look at his salary. The guy is earning $3,000. I mean, if you convert the rand to US dollar, $3,000. In Namibia, my friend Jeremy is earning $2,500 as a member of the parliament. Why are we paying lawmakers $12,000, $15,000? Why? What justification do we have to pay them such money? We have to cut their salary to $4,000. When we do that, nobody will go in the executive to steal and find a way to go to the legislature and hide themselves as they are doing right now. So the last question from Freedom FM. The last question.
Yeah, I'm concerned about your recent audio coming down on the American or the Western country about sanctions on African, especially African leaders.
Look, listen, the EFF is clear. We do not support.
Don't you think to this?
Listen,
contradict that?
No. We do not support imperialism. We do not support neocolonialism. We are strong about that. We believe that too much Western influence on the continent is not helping the continent and making us as African lazy. Our leaders basically rely. Look, trust me. If America just write one statement and say this government is doing well, the government will celebrate as though heaven has come down. They will care less about the feeling of their people. People rely. Look, have you not seen government celebrating even World Bank projection? If World Bank said the economy will grow at 5% or at 2%, the entire government will celebrate. They will have fun time in all the hotels. They will care less about the feeding of their people. As to what their people eat on a daily basis, they don't care. But the fact that World Bank has said this is what they are celebrating. We EFF don't believe in that. We believe in our own narrative. We believe that, look, this country must be better. And if we fight corruption, there are areas we agree with the West. Do you want me to agree with America that gay rights should be passed in the law? You want me to agree with that as an African? You want me to believe that men and men should be sleeping together? That's what you want me to believe? You want me to subscribe? I don't subscribe to that nonsense. I don't believe in that nonsense. Look, Liberia for Liberians, Africa for Africans. America make their place great. We have to fight to make our continent great. In America, I just told one of the Americans leader, look, Liberia has proven to be a better democracy than America. 2020 elections, when the election ended, Joe Biden won. It was projected. Donald Trump refused to go for the inauguration. Liberia, George Weah lost the election 1%. He conceded defeat. Set up a transitional team. The transitional team is working. So between America and Liberia, which one of the democracy you agree? In America, that want to teach us democracy, the racial inequality in America, gun violence in America, they can't put it under control. And they are the same people who cannot accept election result, will come here and say they teach us democracy, and you want me to subscribe to that? Zero. You ever don't believe in that nonsense. We are saying Africa for African, Liberia for Liberian. We will fight to protect our country. We will fight to make Liberia better. Let us stop corruption. When we stop corruption and manage the little resources we have, the West will come to where we are. With all of the things they say about about Rwanda president, Paul Kagame, are they not working with Paul Kagame? They're working with Paul Kagame. Let us hold our country together. Let us protect our country economy. Let us fight corruption. That's what we are saying. We don't hate the West. We'll continue to work with them. But there are areas we disagree. Because you're my friend, I should have the time to disagree with you. We are simply disagreeing with America on a couple of issues. It doesn't mean that we'll not work with them. We'll work with them. They are from. Right now we are talking about the sanction. We are working with them on the sanction to make sure that government officials who stole money for the country are prosecuted. But we disagree with them on gay rights. So do we not have the right to disagree? We disagree with them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel Gongwe is the Commander-in-Chief of the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia, EFFL, addressing the press right there. That is Spoon TV with me, Sylvester Chirople. Thanks so very kindly for following.